friends, welcome back to Science with me. My name is Dr. Erica and it is my joy to have my sidekick with me, Georgia, today. She is gonna help us build a pinball machine in our DIY Games Week. We are building games from our recycling bin all week. It's gonna be so much fun and I can't wait to do it. So just a reminder, if you're new, make sure you click subscribe to our YouTube channel so you know when we have some new videos posted. And you can always come into our Zoom room to hang out and show off your projects or ask questions at patreon.com/rosieresearch. And we have some incredible weeks coming up. We're gonna do some Nobel Prize winning science, including getting E. coli to glow in the dark using this year's Nobel Science of CRISPR. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And then we have an art unit coming up of Science with Art, so we've got some great stuff in store for you guys. All right, today what we need is some cardboard boxes. I suggested some cereal boxes, but I didn't have them in my recycling bin. So I have some just other cardboard boxes that will be perfect for what we're doing. You need a marble for our pinball. And then you need a straw and some sort of a skewer. You could cut a popsicle stick skinnier if you need that.
Cool straw.
I know. And all that we need to make sure is that it's going to fit inside so that we can rotate this, and that's going to be how we make our little paddles. You need a couple of pennies to make those paddles weighted down so that they sort of kind of always come back to one spot. And then the last thing you need is just some random things from your recycling bin. I have some caps and some tape that we thought could maybe be fun, and that will create some obstacles for your pinball machine. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is build our pinball machine. I have this gorgeous pie crust box that I'm going to use, and I'm gonna glue the bottom together. Georgia, would you like to glue that for me? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut the top long face off. Yeah, put 2 dots of glue right here. Yeah, beautiful. And the other side too. Beautiful. Yeah, all right, so we've got this guy glued down just like that. And that's gonna be the bottom of it. I wanna be able to see my pinball machine, so I'm gonna cut out all of this top piece right here. So this is sort of the front face of my pinball machine. You gotta be thoughtful, ooh, thanks Georgia, about what face you want to cut out. Because if I had cut out the sort of the long skinny face, I'd have a very long skinny pinball machine. If that's what you're going for, fantastic. If not, then you might want to glue that part back together to make it what you want. I'm just going to cut off this top face right here, just like this.
Ooh.
Just like that. This could be my ball holding area if I wanted it to, or I could even have it be, I could cut this out a little bit more. I'm going to keep it as a little ball holding area. And I'm going to glue these top pieces together too. It'll help give it some structure so that it's not sort of really wobbly. And it'll also give my pinball machine a top, which I think will be really cool. And you can save your extra cardboard because there's a lot of things that we can do with this that we'll show you later. And pinball machines are going to be no fun if the marble does not roll, right? And we need gravity to make the marble roll. But you'll notice on my table, even though gravity is acting, my marble doesn't roll. If I picked the table up some and tilted it, my marble would roll down the table. So I really want this to roll and have like a tilt to it. The more you tilt this, the faster your pinball machine is going to roll. All right, so you're gonna wanna think about that. And the way that I was thinking I would make it tilt, and you don't have to do it this way. If you have an idea, you should definitely use your idea to make it tilt. I was thinking I could probably glue this macaroni and cheese box together and then glue these two together like this, and that gives it a tilt where if Georgia were to put the marble right up in here, you watch it roll down. Ooh, that's really fast. Maybe that's too fast. Maybe we should try this way. Maybe Georgia tries that way. Ooh, that's pretty fast. So here's another idea I'm thinking.
Use these to decorate it.
I am thinking that maybe we'll glue our bottom box together and we'll have different levels of our game where it's tilted this much or this much. And you could use the same pinball game. I kind of like that. Will you glue this into a box for me? Will you do that for me? Thank you. All right, so while Georgia glues that into a box for me, I'm gonna show you guys how to make the paddles.
A fast trick for gluing it is just gluing right here. Done.
Beautiful. All right, so we want our paddles at the bottom of this piece right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a notch out of both sides where you want your paddle. So you probably don't want to cut the notch really high, because then you can only, once it gets past the paddles, it can't do much. So I'm going to put my paddles kind of low. And so I'm going to cut these notches kind of low, just like this. I'm going to put our marble somewhere else. Beautiful. Thank you, Georgia. All right. And I don't want to cut all the way to the bottom.
Oh, so you can make it so it can like fall down.
Well, this is going to be where our paddles are. I'll show you what the paddles are. I'm not sure if Georgia has ever played pinball on a machine before.
Nope, never.
This will be even more fun. All right. So I have these two notches. Whoop. Gotta cut this piece out. So you can see I've cut out these two notches right here. And I have a little bit right here still, and that's because I'm gonna glue a post. I'm gonna glue one of these posts here so I can put the straw that's on my paddle on that. All right, so what we're gonna do, Georgia, we're gonna glue it straight up and down.
This?
Nope, not the glue. Oh, we need that, Georgia. We're gonna need that.
Okay, I'll just glue out.
All right, I'm gonna cut this little guy a little bit more. And we're gonna make sure that this fits in. If you have some wooden skewers, that'll be really easy for you to get it on. Can I see your straw, please? So I'm just gonna check that this guy goes in. I think I want it to be a little skinnier, so I'm gonna actually cut another skinny piece from here. This is an easy way to get around those wooden skewers. All right, so now I have two of these skinnier pieces. Let's double check again. Always check everything a few times. Yep, I can put this little piece of wood in there and it spins really easily for both of them. Perfect. So what I'm gonna have Georgia do for me is put a little dab of glue there so we can stick this skewer straight up and down.
Dab.
Yep. And now hot glue, Georgia knows this, is my favorite. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. You can do all of this with some Elmer's glue if you want right there, but it just means that your project takes a lot longer to be ready. All right, so I put those little wood sticks right in the middle. Now we need to make our paddles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this cardboard. I want it to be a really heavy duty paddle. So I'm gonna sort of fold it over and I'm gonna have Georgia glue it for me. Beautiful. I'm gonna make it too big right now, and then I can see how I want it later. So Georgia, will you fold that just like that for me, please? I'm gonna make a second one.
Like this?
Yeah, inside. So put the glue inside the red part. Yep. That way we'll have these beautiful white paddles. I'm gonna cut a second paddle. Just like that. So these are gonna be my two paddles. Thank you, Georgia. I'll glue this one.
I'm holding it like this because it's really hot.
Perfect. All right. So now our paddles are going to go like this, and we are going to be able to sort of tap down on this part, and it will make the paddle rotate, but we need it connected. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to slide this straw, oop, that's the wrong side of our straw, onto here, and we'll glue it onto the paddle so the paddle can rotate and stay in place. All right, so I'm going to cut a little piece of straw for both paddles. This is like the best straws ever, I think.
So pretty.
I'm gonna have Georgia glue that right into the middle of the paddles. Will you glue that to the middle of the paddles for me, please? We'll just go for, hopefully that'll be long enough. Actually, you know what? Do it a little off center. Oh, too late for that one. That's okay.
No, it's fine. I know how to do this.
We'll go just a slightly off center.
Claudia.
Oh, beautiful.
Didn't even hold.
So maybe make yours like that, Georgia. Just slightly off center. I'm gonna make it just slightly off center so that when I put it on here,
Which way slightly?
you'll notice that I can, now I have this little paddle
Which way
thing.
slightly?
It doesn't matter because we'll just put we'll put it on accordingly. No big deal. And then we'll pop hers on. Now, if you want your paddles to have more weight to them, that is what the pennies are for.
I did it on the same size.
Where did I put our pennies? I've forgotten.
I did it on the same size as you.
Beautiful. So here's Georgia's. And so we've got these two gorgeous little paddles that we can try to fight to get that marble back up with. If you want those paddles to go down more, again, we're gonna put the pennies on it. I gotta find my pennies. Oh, there's my pennies. Here's our pennies. You would want to put your pennies on the back part of the paddle, so towards the bottom, on the inside, because if I put it on the outside, it's going to weight it down like this. And naturally, we kind of want to push down on these paddles, so we'll put it on the inside. You want to glue those pennies onto the inside? Beautiful. And we're pretty much done with the basic pieces of our work here. What we now need to do is create something really fun for our pinball to go through. You can also glue
the thing right here.
All right. Beautiful. I am loving this. Now, if you find that you want your paddle to hit the bottom, like mine, I have a little gap there. Maybe the marble can make it through that gap. Oh, it can. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix that. Oh, that's okay. We love to fix things, don't we, Georgia? And I'm gonna show you guys how to fix it. I love it when things don't work for me right away too, especially here, because that makes it so that you guys can see how we fix things, right? I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna actually fold a piece of paper or my cardboard, and I can just glue it so that it sort of is a little further down. And I can measure it. Oops, let's make it, we need it a little bit bigger. And again, notice how sometimes when problems happen, it's okay. We can always fix those problems, and it's not a big deal. I'm gonna see if we can do it with this piece, and I'll just measure a little better. All right, so Giorgio, let's glue that piece together. And we'll measure this paddle so that we can have like a little extension that swipes the bottom. I think that will really, really help. All right, Georgia's got that one glued. We're just gluing them so they sort of stick together like that. I'm gonna put the part that's folded onto the inside against it. Just like this. Beautiful, I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit. It's a little bit too long. All right, so now Georgia is gonna glue this onto the bottom, and you wanna do this while it's on there. So Georgia, you could add a little bit of glue right to the top piece right there, and then we'll just stick it in. That way we don't have to measure and try again and measure and try again. We'll just put it in while it's happening, so that we can measure right at the same time that we are putting it in. So we'll just do that, like that. That gives me a bigger paddle, so you can see what my paddle looks like now. It's much deeper.
Add that back on. All your mistakes are
and then, let's do the same thing. Can you put this on the top for me on this side?
Okay, can I have this bit down? Can I put that on this bit down?
Yep, you can. But here, will you add a little bit of glue onto the top for me there? I'm gonna just trim this little piece down right here. It's all nice and trimmed together. Like that. And then, oops, we gotta get this glue in here.
Well, you do
and
that.
We'll get this one right against it as well. Just like that. All right, so now I have these two paddles. Oops, this one's not on. Let's put that on our skewer just like this. I want it to be a little shorter on this one because I want the marble to actually be able to go through the paddles if I need to. All I have to do for that part is start cutting a little bits of this off.
Ooh, do you need this?
But maybe not through the penny.
Do you need this?
I don't. So I'm gonna cut little bits off. Check for the penny. You guys could see that. You're probably like, Dr. Erica, you can't cut through a penny. Will you glue that penny right there for me again? I'm gonna cut this one down a little bit too.
Though. Oh, look, Mama.
Oh yeah, it is really cool. We left the penny imprint in the glue, which I thought that is neat. Georgia liked that. All right. So now I can add both of these paddles on here. And you'll notice that I can fling like that, which is great. And all I have left, I basically have a pinball machine like this. All I have left are for some obstacles or something fun like that. So that's what all of our bottle caps come in. Like maybe I put a bottle cap here so it bounces off, and then who knows how it'll bounce afterwards. So Georgia, will you give me a little glue here? Just around the whole rim would be great. And I was also thinking this one, perfect, would be kind of fun. I was gonna see if my scissors could cut through it. Well, I think they can. It'd be kind of cool to see if you could make it land inside of a piece. So we'll just plop this piece here, and I was thinking, like this could be how we get points in our game. Maybe we have a piece up here that if you can get it to land in that, Will you glue on that edge for me and we can put that in?
Okay.
Maybe we got one that's worth fewer points right down here. Or maybe before we assign points, we should see how hard is it to get each one. Because maybe this one's actually way more difficult. I don't know. Here we do the same thing for this. So you see I'm just adding in pieces. They can be recycled. You could add in whatever you want. And of course, if you've got a larger box, you get to add in more pieces.
Can I use this extra spot?
What should we do with this? Maybe we should have a catch?
This extra spot?
Yeah. Will you do this one for me too? Georgia
the
is.
edges, like the other ones?
Yep, just along the edges. Georgia's doing a great job for me. So now I have this fun little thing, and as it comes down, I can try to use my paddles to pop it up, which will be a fun little game. And I can't wait to see what everybody is doing to work on them, because who knows what you'll come up with. Maybe you add some like little slanty pieces that slanted away and it sort of pops down some pathways. Or maybe if you have a bell, you can add a bell and it can make noise just like a pinball machine. There's so many options for you guys to do this. And I really love that we're not going to connect this. If you wanted to, you can. But we can make this really hard up here or slightly easier. We have like a beginner and an experienced round now, which I think is really cool. So that is our pinball machine. I want to say thank you guys so much for joining us in our DIY games unit. We have some really fun ones coming up as well, like foosball and tabletop soccer, so that even if we're inside all day with our families, we can maybe find a fun new game to hang out with. All right, guys, we will see you next week because we have Veterans Day off tomorrow, and we will come back as we build more DIY games. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day. Yes. Flick it hard. You know what I do also that might help you flick it harder? Is instead of holding it, do it on just one side. Watch this, Georgia.